Bonjour everyone, I'm Misraï from Astraia. Welcome to our today's tutorial about the reporter. To avoid any possible confusion due to the name, I'd like to clarify that we are not talking here about patient reports, but about the so-called reporter that allows you to add your own reusable text to the examination reports or letters. Please note that we have included timestamps in the video so that you can jump directly to the chapter you're interested in. So see you wherever you like. So, the reporter can be used for various tasks and is therefore located in several places in the Astraia software. It can be found in the letter screen to create accompanying letters, in the conclusion screen to add summaries, and explicitly in the obstetrics module in the cfDNA analysis screen to include the test description of the used NIPT. But the principle and functionality of the reporter is the same everywhere. Therefore, I will only focus on the reporter in the conclusion screen and explain the functionality step by step using realistic examples. So, let's say that for all anomaly and growth scan examination reports, you want to create a set of your own possible conclusions that apply to specific cases. For example, normal singleton pregnancy with fetal growth restriction, or N, singleton pregnancy with morphological abnormalities. The first thing we should do to avoid a mess is to create a folder where we can place the different text blocks used for anomaly and growth scans. To do this, we select the folder name text and click on the Add New Item icon. In the screen that opens, we now enter the title of the folder in Item Name. Let's use Anomaly and Growth Scan. Leave the rest empty and click OK. The item is currently an empty document, but will be converted to a folder as soon as we add text items to it. Make sure that the folder to be created is selected and click on the Add New Item icon again. Texts can be either written directly in the reporter or transferred from an external document. I personally prefer the second method and will therefore use it in this example. So, in my case, I select the first text block, which refers to singleton pregnancies with a normal ultrasound results, copy it, and then paste it into the item text field using the shortcut Ctrl-V on Windows. Next, I have to enter the item name, which is displayed afterwards in the reporter menu and should therefore be short and precise. I've decided to use singleton normal. Then, I close the screen by pressing the OK button. To include the text in the patient report, all you have to do is to double-click on the item name and it will now appear in the display screen. Here, you can also change the existing text, add an additional one, or format it. However, these changes will only affect the current examination. Permanent changes can only be done in the Edit Report item screen. As you have probably noticed, my text example contains placeholders for patient name, date of birth, etc. Of course, these are to be replaced for the final report with the patient and examination-specific data. This can be achieved with the help of variables. Variables are actually also a kind of placeholder, but they are defined by Astraia and therefore allow the automatic transfer of the information from the corresponding database field. In order to do that, I need to go back to the Edit Report item screen by clicking on the Edit this item icon. Let's start with the first variable that I want to insert, which is the patient's first name. First, I have to delete my own placeholder and then to select the variable patient first name in the variables list, which by default contains the most frequently used ones. The variable is now inserted where I left the cursor. After that, I have to do the same for all other variables: patient last name, patient date of birth, examination date, gestational age, and the sonographer. Alright, we are almost done, but I just want to format the text a little bit and highlight the patient's name and examination result in bold letters. Next, I close the screen, delete the old text, and double-click once again on the item name. As you can see, we have now successfully generated the first text block and are ready to move on to the next one. Creating the second text block for singletons with fetal growth restrictions is much faster because the part containing the variables is the same as before, and we can therefore just copy it from the Edit Report item screen with the Ctrl+C shortcut. Now, we need to select the parent folder, Anomaly and Growth Scan. Click on Add New Item, paste the text containing the variables, then copy and paste the other text with the description from the external document. Format the text. Enter the item name. And we are done. In the last part, I want to show how to add variables to the list if they are not included yet. Let's therefore assume that we also want to display the estimated fetal weight in our text. So, we prepare everything, go to the variables list, and can't find the estimated fetal weight there. Hence, we have to create the variable first using the reporter variable editor right next to it. In the list, we now have to select the entry new variable at the very bottom. After that, we are prompted to enter the variable name and variable value. The variable value is actually the database name, which has the format table.column. As a simple mortal with no IT knowledge, you probably get a small panic attack when you hear this. But don't worry, IT terms are not the issue here. We just need to find out the table and column name of that field, which essentially tells us where it is located in the database. And this can be done with the help of the query editor. To do this, we need to select Tools in the menu bar at the top and open Queries. There, we click on New Query in the center right and select the module we are in, namely pregnancy. In the query builder, I now go to the mask biometry anatomy and click on the estimated fetal weight field. In the small section that appears at the bottom, we can see the name of the table, which is fetus, and the name of the column, which is est weight. Now we have all the necessary information to create the variable. Back in the Add New Variable screen, we have to define the variable name, for which I simply use the abbreviation EFW and enter the variable value in the required format, which is table.column. Hence, we enter fetus.estWeight. The variable now appears in the list and can be used. If a variable is not displayed in the text, make sure that the variable value is written correctly and that no space was inserted at the end if you have used copy-paste. So, that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching and stay around if you would like to see other tutorials.